Hello everyone, you're watching Let's Talk About Prepping. I'm Tyler, your host, and in this video, I'm going to thinly veil more complaining about customers as prepper talk. So this is why your bratty children are going to get you killed in SHTF. Now, as many of you know, I work in food service. I work in a restaurant. It's not a fancy restaurant, but it's a pretty nice restaurant. And we don't like it when you bring your kids in and let them scream and run around and get in other people's way and mess with the restaurant and stuff, like play with all of our things that we have sitting out. And most people are pretty good about this. Most of our clientele are upper middle class, doctors, lawyers, things like that. But that also makes it even more interesting when these people who think they have all their stuff together are horrible parents who have raised bratty children. Now, my parents were pretty meticulous with our behavior as children. They weren't strict disciplinarians, but they knew how to get the job done to get us to behave. They used techniques besides just ignoring us or swatting us to get us to understand why it was wrong to disturb others and to be loud and irreverent in public. So it just not only grates at me, knowing that I would never have been allowed as a child to behave that way, or anyone in my family. When people just let their children scream or play extremely loudly or run around throughout a restaurant, making people stop in their tracks to avoid plowing these kids over. And even worse is when you watch them with their toddlers and infants who are already being conditioned to get what they want by screaming. And they do nothing to curtail this. They just gain that sort of glazed expression that parents have when they are using their ability to ignore their own children's screaming. And I've been around children who I was able to drown out or ignore because I'd been around them crying so much. But when you go into public, you cannot just ignore the fact that your child is giving ear-splitting shrieks just because you're not currently putting food in their mouth. And when you do nothing but simply put food in their mouth to quiet them, you do nothing but condition them to continue to do that. And so, as preppers, there may not be a lot of situations where a crying child will get you killed, like they depict in The Walking Dead or other videos, movies, TV shows, where the cry of a child will alert danger to your location and get you killed. But something to think about, the fact that extremely disobedient and loud and unruly children do pose a threat to any group that's trying to observe operational security. You don't want to worry about children running off because they're disobedient. You want to know how they'll behave, how they'll listen to what you have to say, and not have to worry about them as some kind of wild card. And for that reason, I think well-behaved and obedient children are a major concern for preppers. And I think that if you're the kind of parent who doesn't train your children well, that's going to be a major, major, major source of trouble for you in grid down in SHTF, because you're not going to have everybody in public accommodating for the fact that your children are horribly behaved and a hindrance. You're going to have to deal with it yourself and in a much more dangerous situation. So just something I think about whenever I see people who don't seem to care very much about how they're raising their children. Anyways, hope you're all doing well. Love to hear your thoughts. Everybody stay safe out there.